Self-serving bias is something we all experience, even if we don't realize it. It's the tendency to credit ourselves when things go well and blame external factors when they don't. You nail an exam, clearly because you studied hard and you're smart. But if you fail it, suddenly it's the teacher's fault, the questions were unfair, or you just weren't feeling well. See the pattern? It's a psychological defense mechanism. Our brains do this automatically to protect our self-esteem. We want to believe we're competent and capable, so when something good happens, we tell ourselves it's because of our own actions. When something bad happens, we shift the blame to something else to avoid feeling like a failure. In everyday life, people tend to credit success to their own effort, like winning a game due to hard training or completing a task thanks to smart planning, while blaming failures on outside factors such as unfair referees, bad leadership, or tight deadlines. Even in relationships, it's common to praise oneself during good times and shift blame during conflict, overlooking how one's own behavior might contribute to the problem. One interesting thing about self-serving bias is how culture affects it. In individualistic cultures, like the United States or Western Europe, people tend to focus more on personal achievements. So the bias is stronger. People are more likely to take credit and deflect blame. In collectivist cultures, like Japan or South Korea, people often prioritize group harmony over individual success. That means they might actually take more blame than necessary, just to maintain peace. This bias can be helpful sometimes. It can boost confidence, help us recover from setbacks, and motivate us to keep going. If someone constantly blamed themselves for everything, they'd probably struggle with anxiety or depression. A little self-serving bias can act as a buffer. It helps you stay optimistic and focused. But there's a catch. If it goes unchecked, self-serving bias can lead to a lack of accountability. This tendency to protect our ego by shifting blame away from ourselves can quietly erode self-awareness. When we constantly attribute failures to external forces, we miss valuable opportunities to examine our own decisions and reactions. Over time, this mindset stunts emotional growth and limits our capacity to handle challenges with maturity. By honestly acknowledging our contribution to both successes and setbacks, we build inner resilience, nurture empathy for others' perspectives, and foster more meaningful and balanced relationships. Self-reflection isn't always comfortable, but it's a powerful step toward personal evolution. Think about someone who always believes they're right. No matter what goes wrong, they have an excuse ready. It's exhausting to deal with people like that, because they never take responsibility. They deflect, justify, and rationalize until they believe their own story. That's self-serving bias at work, and it's not a good look. Interestingly, people with low self-esteem or depression may experience the bias in reverse. They blame themselves even when something isn't their fault and dismiss their successes as luck or coincidence. Instead of protecting their self-esteem, their brain seems to erode it. So the bias isn't a one-size-fits-all, it shifts depending on how someone sees themselves. Breaking the pattern starts with self-awareness. When something goes wrong, ask yourself if you played a role. Maybe you didn't communicate clearly. Maybe you weren't as prepared as you thought. That doesn't mean beating yourself up, it means being honest. On the flip side, when something goes right, it's okay to feel proud, but also look around. Did someone help? Was timing a factor? Was luck involved? The goal isn't to erase the bias completely. That's probably impossible. But you can soften it. You can learn to balance confidence with humility, success with gratitude, and failure with accountability. We all like to think we're the hero of our own story. But sometimes, even heroes mess up. And admitting that doesn't make us weak, it makes us real. If we're willing to look at ourselves honestly, we can grow in ways that excuses and blame will never allow.